Okay, so the first part of our cityscape is our pencil drawing. And we need to figure out where the ground in our picture is and where the sky and most of the buildings are going to be. So I need to create a horizon line first. A horizon line is a long horizontal line that separates the ground from the sky. So because I know I'm making a city, my buildings are going to be really tall. So I want my ground to be on the lower part of this picture. I'm not usually worried about making a perfectly flat line, because the ground's not perfectly flat most of the time either. Okay. It's a little crooked, it's okay. Alright. So from here, I can make my buildings from this line. I can make some really tall rectangular ones. I can make some maybe a fatter, shorter one. And I'm going to leave a little space here because I want to do a stop sign right here. So then after that part, I'm going to do like another really long, maybe a skinnier building. Maybe I'll make this one pointed at the top. So I'll start here and then kind of angle it up like a house. Now that one goes off the page, which is good because it creates interest in a picture. It makes people wonder what's happening off the paper. For a stop sign, I'm going to create a square first. Just like I would out of cut paper make an octagon this way, I'm going to draw a really, really, really light square. I'm barely pressing the paper down. That way I can erase the corners without it showing. Alright. Now that I have my square, I'm going to get rid of all four corners by making little triangles out of them. Now all I have to do is erase those four corners. If I erase part of my other pencil line, that's okay, because I can always draw it back in. And I'll get a nice octagon. And then I'll make two lines for a real skinny pole. I could put some organic shapes like puffy clouds. Maybe I've got a little tree somewhere in this little corner over here. Make a little tree trunk, some little branches coming up, and I can overlap, meaning going on top of something else if I want. Now if I do that, I gotta get rid of that pencil line, of course. Can't see through the tree. Okay. So I got some branches and a little tree going there. I could put buildings behind my buildings. So right here there's a little empty space. I could make another building right here. Two details should add to my buildings would be things like, I don't know, maybe a door so they can actually get into the building. And some doors, like these really tall buildings, there'll probably be two doors. So I'll make a double door here. I can make it a little more fancy too, adding an archway on top of it. I can make some windows. And I can do some different things with these windows for the different buildings I have. Now if you notice, when I'm drawing those windows right next to the tree, wherever the tree is, I'm just going to kind of stop. Because it's hiding. I'm making it hide behind my tree. Alright, I'm going to keep making my windows. I've gotten a little bit further into my design. I did start doing this one, and remember, because this building is behind these two, if my window goes off, just leave it alone. So this one I probably won't see the door because it's right there in the middle. So I'll just leave it. You notice that I added a little bush on either side of this building, and some of these windows are smaller than others. I could go and add some more details. Maybe this building is more like somebody's house. So I'm adding a little curve and a line to show something that like curtains. We're going to speed up a little bit while I finish up these little windows. I'm going to add the stop for my stop sign next, S-T-O-P, and add a few more organic shaped clouds. You can see that skinny building right there. I used rectangle windows instead of square windows. And this house, I'm actually going to use a circle window to make things look different, giving the picture variation. Also adding some flowers for a little garden. And then another thing that I need for the city, there's going to be lots of streets because people have to travel somehow. So the street is marked. So on one side of the road and the other side of the road, there's lines. So you could do a double line, or I am actually going to do a dashed line. So I'm making little rectangles. I'm fast forwarding through this, but remember, you should take your time. Now, if this is really a city, I could draw cars, or I could draw something like a taxi, those yellow cars where people use to get from place to place in bigger cities. I could make a school bus, or a fire truck, or a cop car, any of those things. I'm going to choose to do, I'll do a school bus. So we just got back to school and we'll make a school bus now. I'm going to have to erase some of this depending on where I decide to put my school bus. I think I'm going to put my school bus over here because there's more empty space there. So we'll put my school bus. Now the school bus is going to be on the road. I don't want to put it up here in the building. So the bus has to start down here. Alright, so my rectangle will start here, and then it's going to come up. And that's how big I want my bus to be. That means everything inside this rectangle, I want to erase. Now, if you wanted to draw your bus first on the road, you could do that, but then you have to draw your buildings behind and around your bus or your car or whatever it is. So here's my school bus. I've got my wheels. I think I'm going to make them go this way. So there'll be a window up front and a door. Oops, you know what? I think I need to make the door first. I'll make my school bus door like that. I'm adding some final details on my bus. If you want to add more than one vehicle, you can. Things as far as cars go. If you wanted to make just a regular car, you could do something as simple as a half circle with little circles underneath to make a car. Make the windshield and a window in the middle, car door there. Another thing you could do, if you wanted to get really fancy, is you could do a rectangle with another rectangle or a trapezoid on top. And then all you'd have to do is erase that middle line. Looks a little more like a car. And then my car doors here. So that could be a window and back seat window there for another car door, and circles. I could do a headlight. You could make a little trapezoid on top and write taxi. You could make it a rectangle and make 3 little sections there and do red, white, and blue so it looks like a police car. If you wanted to make a fire truck, it'd start the same way you make the bus. And maybe add some extra. Oh, you could make a truck this way too. I could make that. And the bus could look like this too, where I just added that extra square in front. I kind of like that better. And then you can add on your windows and stuff. Now the fire engine, you might want to add a ladder, maybe a ladder on top or a ladder on the side. Like that. And maybe some sirens on top too. And then when you color it in, just make sure that you color it red. Remember, the city is your design, so it doesn't have to look like mine. I'm just giving you a bunch of different ideas. Oh, one other thing, if you want a traffic light, like for your cars, just a rectangle and 3 circles. A little traffic light. All right, let's get started.